weeks here on ABC Radio South Australia. I'm Angela Coe, and I wanted to know whether you like the smell of burning rubber or burnouts. Now, doing a burnout on the road is not recommended, with penalties in South Australia ranging from fines of up to $2,500, demerit points, losing your licence, and in some cases your car could be confiscated and crushed. But at a few places around South Australia, including the Mallala Motorsport Park, there are places where the rubber can hit the road. And this weekend, it'll be happening legally and in controlled conditions. Paris Charles is a commentator for the Adelaide Burnouts and a well-known person in the motorsport community. Good morning, Paris.
Good morning, Angela. How are you?
I am good, and it is lovely to chat with you again because it has been a while. We used to take photographs of me when I was just a little teenager running my car at Speedway.
Well, I was going to say, Angela, just to give your listeners a little bit of a upbringing, a real quick speed. Angela was a very good Speedway competitor. She raced around all the tracks around South Australia. I remember her back in the days of places like Waikerie Speedway and Speedway City, Virginia, and Murray Bridge and all those other tracks. And she used to get around, I believe, number 27, if I remember right, Ange.
Yes, you have remembered that very well. I mean, you had to take photos of everybody at all of these tracks. I'm very impressed that you remembered that number. It was bright pink on the side of a white car.
That's right. Who could forget you? You were as great a driver as you are radio host.
Oh, gosh, I came last a lot. I did come last a lot, Paris. That's
okay, so did I.
All right, now, we're talking today about burnouts now that we've had our little reunion.
Yes.
Why do people like burnouts? I don't get it, Paris. I don't get it.
Well, it's a different horses for different courses, Angela. We loved the Speedway. We love to get around the track and go as fast as we can. For these guys and girls doing the burnouts, they just love the thrill, the adrenaline, the emotion and everything that goes with it. They spend their time with their friends. They get together and that's what they consider to be a good time. And it is important that we get them off the streets and onto a safe environment such as a racetrack like Mallala Motorsport Park. And I think that's what it's all about. They love the smell, they love the rubber, they love the smell in the air or the smoke in the air and the Yahoo environment that goes with it.
Do you have to have a fair few things in place to make sure that burnouts are safer?
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly the team at Mallala Motorsport Park and the other venues, they have fire and crash crews, they have scrutineering to make sure the cars are safe before they go on the track. Everything is done under rules and regulations. They wear helmets, long pants, long tops, so everything is covered for safety. And as you know, safety at a racetrack always comes first.
How do you judge the quality of a burnout?
Well, it's really ballet of the bitumen. The cars come down the entry chute and they spin around, which they call a whip or an entry into the burnout, and then they move around the pad and they keep the car dancing from left to right, back and forth, and everything in between, without going outside of the perimeter or having to use the reverse gear. So you have to keep the car moving. It's not just your stock standard, put the brake on, put your foot to the floor and burn your tyres. These guys and girls are actually very gifted at what they do and they do a great job. So it is really an art form for the driver.
What types of things get the crowd going?
Smoke. It is a smoke show, Ange. You know, the guys, the girls, what they try to do is get the smoke happening from the rear tyres, the big revs of the engines. Many of the cars have highly modified engines and cut down exhaust. So not only is it the smoke rising in the air, but it's the sound and the atmosphere that runs with it, because the cars sound loud and they certainly, carry that momentum of high revs and everything like that through the burnout, which makes it a fun thing
Are there certain
for those concerned.
vehicles and the like that are more interesting to watch on the pad?
Well, yeah, definitely. They just like we did with Speedway, they have different classes. They have from 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, V8s, and then they have the opens, which are, of course, the things with the big blowers and all the performance parts and so forth. And they spend big money on these cars. These cars are worth a lot of money at the high end, and they take this very, very seriously, what they do. But, it's something for everyone. People bring street standard cars out there, and they like to, have a go. And then there are guys, as I said, at the other end, that come out with beautifully presented cars, have full sponsorship across the cars, and they go out there and run their competitions very competitively.
Right. Paris Charles is commentator at the Adelaide Burnouts, which are happening this weekend at Mallala Motorsport Park. How can people get along this weekend? Is it a ticketed event?
I believe so. Look, off the top of my head, let me see, gates open around 9 a.m, I do believe. Action will kick off at about 10 for the Burnouts, but it'll be a great day, family day. $20, I do believe, for an online ticket, or you can get a ticket at the gate for $25, and kids under 12 are free. But in addition to the Burnouts, Ange, I've just got to make mention very quickly, there is much more going on at Mallala Motorsport Park. Just recently, the Shaheen family, who own the On The Run service stations, and of course the Bend Motorsport Park, which is the jewel in the motorsport crown of Australia, they put some fantastic go-karts out there.
Yeah,
and
I did notice that.
I think you and I are going to have to go out and have a run on these go-karts and just see who of us will be last. We were talking about being last before. And look, these karts are fantastic. They're Honda-powered karts, and they are regarded as the fastest outdoor karts. And they cater for everyone, Ange, from drivers of all ability. So you and I down the back will be just fine.
Yeah, we'll go have a shot at that. I'm definitely keen to go and do some go-karting. I must admit, I've never done a burnout, Paris, never. All my years in cars, mostly just been on dirt, and I've never had the chance to do a burnout.
Well, I haven't seen you do a burnout, but I have seen you spin out.
Yeah, and roll over a couple of times as well. I think you did manage to capture one of my photographs when I rolled over as well, which was very good. But thanks for that.
I think you, at some point, you're just going to have to share with your readers, not your readers, sorry, I'm talking press media there, your listeners, some of your history, because I'm sure they'd be very interested to know what you used to get up to as a young teenager. I certainly remember what you did.
just on the racetrack. No one wants to know about the rest of it. And that will forever go down into the banks of history and never come out again. No, I do talk about it occasionally. I think everyone gets a bit sick of me talking about myself, honestly. But we are talking today about the burnouts and all the things that you can get along to at Mallala. Celebrated their 60th anniversary last year and still going strong. So if you in for it, get there. Gates open at 10 a.m. Action kicks off at 10. Sorry, gates at 9, and should be a good day. Thanks for your time today, Paris, and lovely to catch up again.
No worries, Ange. Look, we must talk at some other time. We must follow up and have a little bit more of a chat about Mallala. There's lots of interesting information going back over the years, from the days when it was a RAF base and through the years of the ownerships. Clem Smith owned it, and now, of course, the Shaheen family. And, there's plenty to talk about and great things always happening out there. So, for those of you that are out there listening that do want to know what's going on at Mallala or maybe get involved, check out Mallala on social media at Mallala Motorsport Park, or be sure to check them out on their official website.
You've done a good sell today. Thanks, Paris.
Thank you, Ange. Look, you have the greatest of days. It has been a pleasure to speak to you, and hopefully we will talk again soon.
Very good to catch up again. It's been quite a while since we've seen each other. Paris Charles, commentator at the Adelaide Burnouts, very well-known person in the motorsport community right the way around South Australia.